Boots on the ground, heads on a swivel. Lessons learned paid in blood and grit. We've walked through fire, carried the weight. Still standing tall, still not quit. Different MOs, same damn scars. Different paths, same true north. We don't run from the hard conversations. We adapt, overcome, push forward. When the fight follows you home at night and the mission feels hard to define, fall back, sound off, regroup right here. This is where we realign. This is the mission rally point, where warriors sharpen mind and soul. No ranks here, just share resolve. Every rep makes us whole. We own our past, we lead the future. Purpose locked, eyes aligned. This is the mission rally point. Stand fast, it's time to rise. Stand fast, it's time to rise.
Welcome everybody into Mission Rally Point Wednesday night, talking about identity after conflict. Oops. Let me bring that up here. Get back on all my stuff. Well, shit. All right. So, identity after conflict. Bob, you want to kind of start with with your video that you posted this afternoon? Well, I'm kind of getting set back up.
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot. I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let me get things shared out real quick. Finish that.
Oh, we got in here. Hey, Marine Doc. Hello. Seen Doe, Mr. Sarge, Skull Reaper. How are you?
Thanks, Marine Doc.
Thanks for everybody that's coming in.
Oh, and then I need to do this.
Screw it. I'm going to wing it. You know
I
what?
cannot read.
Let's wing it.
We've been studying up on it enough.
So, identity after conflict. A lot of us were veterans, or, being in the military, it was the first job we had, or, we decided we were going to redo our life. So we, once all that ended, we needed to try to figure out who we were, right? So that's kind of the conversation tonight, is talking about our identity after the service, after conflicts, image versus identity. So that was one thing I really want to touch on. That was one thing that hit home with me when I was doing the research for this, was what is identity? So, the definition. Go ahead.
And I think one thing to kind of set a basis on is, what was the identity we've set the identity of during the fight or crisis. It gave you clarity, gave you a purpose, gave you strength, predictability. It's all the mindset that you were coming out of.
So the definition is, when you get down to it, like just looking at the Webster definition, is identity is what makes you you. Somebody said in the post, a comment in the post today was, that's integrity. Integrity is part of it. It's your morals and your principles and the foundation of who you are. That's what makes up your identity. Now, the one thing that we get focused on, especially on social media, is the image. We care about what people look, how they perceive us, and that image that's put out there, and we forget of what our identity is. And then, some people get called out on their image, and then they question their identity. So I'm good with bringing up people whenever we want. I mean, if there's people that
Okay.
are already asking,
Yep.
and we can build a panel up and we can talk about this. And
Oh, she left. I mean, she didn't leave, but she's didn't request anymore. It might have been an accident.
okay, but that's the biggest thing that I'm facing right now with myself is, you know, holding true to my identity and not just my image here, and that's what I try to portray is being genuine in the image I portray. Um, Hi, Christy. Or she's gone. She gone. There. Now I got it.
She might not have wanted up.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yes, Ninja. Go ahead.
yeah. Anybody that wants to come up and talk about this, um, I think it's a good topic because, like I said, we put out here what we want people to see. So we have that image that we portray. Hi, Ninja.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing well. I
Good.
think so anyway.
Yeah.
That's good. And you talk can you kind of catch me up to speed? I kind of lost track. Sorry.
You're fine. Basically, we're talking about identity after conflict, or basically identity versus image. I think it kind of goes hand in hand with after the conflict.
Mhm. Okay.
So,
Well, when you're talking identity after the conflict, are you talking identity after the military in this context, or are you talking how are you
it
how
can
is that?
it can be anything because there's different conflicts in life. It's not
Mhm.
just. I
Okay.
don't want to narrow it down to just what is my identity. What was my identity after leaving? Because I know that's an existential question for a lot of people that leave the military.
Yeah.
It's kind of a given. What am I going to do? Who am I going to be? It takes a period of time to try to figure that out.
Mhm.
And this could be from trauma, divorce, addiction, crisis, any of the things like that.
Yeah.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Good
How you doing,
Good
Frank?
evening.
evening.
Like, it
I'm
took
all
me
right.
a year and a half to get back to my identity after my divorce. So,
Well, and that's a good thing because I've gone through divorce, I've gone through um, abuse, and in that sense, I lost everything that I was, my self worth, and it's taken me. That is a hard conversation for me right there. So for me to sit here and bring that part of my life up is a big step in getting myself back. Getting the fact
mm-hmm.
that, the stuff that happened to me in 2023 with my biological family has made me see I was wanting to be everything for everybody. I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm this, I'm this. Somebody asked me 2 years ago, who are you? And you know what I said? I have no idea. I have
It's
no
Well,
freaking clue who I am, except
it's
where it pertains to, like, excuse me, I'm using you as an example, where I can what I can do in your life, Mike.
it's image over identity at that point, right?
Yeah.
You put on that image that, hey, I'm strong, I'm here for you,
Yep.
but you're broken inside and you don't want to show anybody.
Mm-hmm.
and you can't your identity. You can't recover from the past. You're going to have to rebuild. You can't go
Mm-hmm.
back to who you were before the conflict. Conflict
Yep.
permanently changes your worldviews, your values, your emotional wiring. It's not restoration; it's integration into the new you.
And that's the thing. The thing that happened is I got pushed out of my family after having been my mom's caregiver from 2017 on. So I got pushed out. I got told I wasn't good enough. And it broke me. It destroyed me. But it took that bad thing happening to me to make me realize it's I don't know how to explain it. It sounds as I'm talking to you, because I don't talk about this very much. Because it's, for me, it's embarrassing, but made me realize I got to live for myself.
Oh, no, you're not wrong.
But do know that there's nothing embarrassing about it. I mean, it's one of the hardest things to go through in life, just the change. And we all value our identity and our morals and everything, and keep them. We feel like they are who we are, but when something changes, that it's a lot.
Yeah,
I'd like to comment on what she said because that happens to a lot of people in different situations. I'm an older guy. I had traumatic experience while on active duty. I broke my neck. I was never the same. And the military back in my day forced me out and gave me a medical discharge. So I never saw the conflict that the generations of today did. But I can tell you that when you feel the way you're talking about, where life has a changing effect on you, I've been fighting for years and years and years with that. I'm 62 years old. I've probably been fighting since I was put out in 1989. You know, I mean, I didn't know who I was. I had to identify who I was. I had to re-identify, and I've done it multiple times in multiple situations. Trauma affects each individual differently, but it also affects each of us independently in some similar way. And if you overcome that, it's damn sure not easy.
No, it's not.
So, you know, if you have the ability to overcome that, because you said you don't know who you are, but you probably, listening to you, you're probably in fight or flight. It's identifiable by certain things that you said. You're a people pleaser. I can identify with that. We become somebody. I think that you said, like, you put this mask on, or you put this I'm okay image on.
Yep.
And that's the hardest thing for me. I could help any one of you on this panel. I just drop everything to help. But when it comes to me asking for help, and it's like he said, it's a mask. Every day you put that smiling mask on. And I don't know about anybody else here, but it's gotten to the point that it's just easier for me to say, hey, when somebody asks, are you okay? Or what's going on? Oh, nothing, I'm fine. And that's part of the identity I've made for myself is...
And Ninja Boy, you said something that I've heard a lot of people say through TikTok and about what they want to do and how they want to help others, and they'll drop anything to help others. But the first thing that we all must do, and I'll push this in for everything I got, is we got to make sure we're okay. We got to take care of us before we always worry about others. As much as bad as it is to say at times, you're no good to others if you're not good to yourself.
Yeah, and you know, Navy vet down there in the comments, you know, a lot of us struggle with internalizing what we're going through, and you know that was one thing that I really struggled with was I would internalize and internalize and internalize, whether it was anger, sadness, whatever it was, because you know I was always trying to be that strong person, and inside I was dying every day. You know,
Hmm.
a great example of this is I got out of the Marine Corps, and I got divorced or separated
Thank you.
within 3 months of each other. So my identity was freaking out there. You know, I didn't know what the fuck, or who I was going to be, with this, that, or the other. Um, so I I really had a hard time figuring out who I was, because my ex-wife told me that I wasn't worth a shit all the time. I wasn't going to amount to anything. You know, I was the smartest dumb person she ever met. Like, I was book smart, but I had no common sense. You know, and I believed that shit. That was my identity because I've been told that for so long. So after all that was done, I had to rebuild my identity of who I am now, because I'm not dumb. I do have common sense. I am worth something, you know, and building that identity and holding to those principles and those morals that I have of being a good person and supporting those around me, but not at the expense of myself.
Yeah, there's this saying I was told, you can't fill someone else's cup if your cup is empty. And
Yep.
that is a hard one for me to live by, because I'm the oldest of all my siblings. So everything growing up, and my mom was a single mom, so everything was put on me. I went from that straight out of high school into the military. So I had that, got out medical after 4 years, went into an abusive relationship with my ex-husband, who would tell me, you're fat, you're ugly, nobody's gonna like so you know I believed it. I believed, so that became my identity. Nobody liked me, nobody.
And
And
it's hard to rebuild, isn't it?
yeah, because I tell people, don't judge people, because you never know what they're going through. And like you said, Mike, I got out and from the military, was dealing with my stuff, then straight from that, because I married another guy in the military, and it just went downhill. So like you said, went through that, being told and at the age of 24, I believed all that. And I'm a lot older than that now. So you live with it long enough, you just bring it home all the time.
And
It's like
it's once
ingrained in
you,
you.
Yep. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
you know, it's once you make that decision to break that conformity, or that lifestyle, however you want to put it. I'm probably wording this wrong, but you know, when you make that mindset shift of who you're going to be, that's where the growth starts. And it's painful at first
Mhm.
because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
unknown.
Well, you got to figure out again what matters to you, because what mattered
Yeah.
before to you might not matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Dr.
Jason, I
Kevin,
know
welcome up.
you've been sitting down
Jason. Yeah.
All right, yes. Hey, how are y'all doing?
Great.
Good.
there. Great.
All right, good, good. I wanted to I join and actually talk about how, and I guess in a way ask for some advice, as I I to what well it was talked about how there was a lot of internalization of things, and at the point I am in building my identity is I'm just some advice on like how to adjust away from internalizing um all of those items, like, hang on, and
You're fine, brother.
yeah, and I guess how to I guess how to um at the point I'm at, I'm almost exhausted from how like often I've had to build it since I got out years back, and I like what is a good way to like push like through that exhaustion and to not internalize things as much to help but like form a healthy identity. I guess that would be a question I would have.
There's
So
actually a couple ways to do that. Okay, Mission.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, man. So the one of the big things that a lot of vets struggle with is that we don't always realize that we do things for a reason. We've been conditioned to do things for a reason. We have conditioned responses to things, right? So part of rebuilding that identity and is knowing what you're trying to accomplish, developing that purpose. When you have reactions to things, why? Why are you having those reactions to things, right? You, a couple of you guys are, I mean, vets always talk about, helping others before they help themselves, right?
Yeah.
Part of that is part of the way we're trained. You take care of the team. There is no I in team, right? We have to take care of everyone else. Yeah, there is a point where we as leaders learn that you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. And we often forget that. So when you're trying to build a healthy identity, you're trying to develop that sense of purpose. You have to understand what you're doing it for. What are you trying to accomplish with yourself? What are you trying to work toward? Your identity is going to evolve. You may end up being a student for a while and going back to school, learning a new trade, trying to be, you might be a family man for a while, trying to take care of a kid or take care of your responsibilities in the home. Your identity is a fluid thing. The important thing to realize is you have to set goals and expectations for yourself. What are you trying to do? Why are you trying to do it? What is the intent of what you're doing? Then that becomes healthy. When we start avoiding things, we have to look at it. Why are we avoiding this? Why
Yeah,
is this a problem?
And Dr. Kevin, I would love to add to what you said with the goals.
Go for it.
Is not only set goals, but within those goals have achievements within them and celebrate those achievements.
When I teach veterans about this stuff, and so Jason, I haven't talked with you before, but I'm a combat vet and a licensed mental health provider.
all right.
So understand what I'm saying is just general guidance and I'm not your therapist.
All right.
And I like my license, I can't treat people out of state. That
All right,
being said,
understood.
right, when I teach people this, when I teach veterans this, the biggest thing I go back to is exactly what We the People was talking about. That 5-paragraph op order. What's the
Yep.
situation going on? What's the mission? The most important thing that we're taught in that mission is the commander's intent. The commander's intent is that measurable, no bullshit objective of what success looks like. Because we all know no plan survives first contact. No plan that we make survives a life, right? So how do we know if we're successful or not? Then we look at what we need. What resources do we need? What are different ways we can accomplish that, right? Do we need to talk to anyone about it? That's all what therapy actually teaches us, and that's all we're taught in the military is that 5-paragraph op order.
All
Oh,
right.
the other thing on the civilian side that I've learned since getting out, and I constantly do this, and they're always changing, is I always set 3 goals. I set a reachable or attainable goal, a goal that's just a little higher, and then a long term goal. So that way I have benchmarks and achievements along the way. Like uh, Bob here was talking about, something to celebrate, and then move on to that next goal, and then you reset. But I always have that long term goal out there of what I'm striving towards.
Absolutely. I mean, when we actually learn to do goals, right? Whether it's therapy, civilian world, military, it doesn't matter. We set that objective, right? Then we have what most people will call phase lines, or the little steps, those little measurable things, those little victories we obtain in order to eventually meet that goal. And those goals you're working on, exactly what Mission was talking about, should be working toward that larger goal. And if you're trying to make $1 million a year, right? And you want to go be a real estate agent and do it, you may have to take a shit job, right, to pay the bills now. But that's a stepping stone to get to the things you want. And when you have that larger goal and you realize why you're doing that shit job now to get what you want in the future, there's no stress about it. There's no depression about it. There's no issues with it because you're working toward those bigger goals and you're setting up yourself up for success.
And
I'm
sometimes
feeling
it's
called
just
out here,
as,
Dr. Kevin.
Do what?
you know,
Called out?
and sometimes it's a goal just as small as like when I was just getting reset with everything and trying to set routine. It was a small goal of making my bed every day because even that was a struggle at one point. So once I got in that routine of doing that for, I don't know, 2 weeks, I moved on to something else.
Yeah,
All right.
it's the
You know,
small things that matter. Always is.
I'm learning too, as going through, celebrate your accomplishments. I have a hard time doing that and I dwell on the bad that's going on. But even if that's getting out of your bed and making it, celebrate that. Tell somebody, hey, guess what I did? I made my bed today. They may
Right.
look at you weird, but that is, I don't know. Sorry, guys.
It's
no,
okay.
you're
you're
fine.
Well,
good.
with that,
You're absolutely
yeah,
right. You
and
have to
without
celebrate your
goals,
victories.
and without goals and mission, I mean, your identity just collapses.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
To
And if
you, it
people
may be a
around you
big
aren't,
goal, but to others, it may be a little goal. It's whatever goal that you
Yep.
achieve for yourself to
Yep.
make you happy.
and honestly, it doesn't matter how big or little the goal is. If you have people around you that aren't supporting you, then they're not the people that should be
Mm-hmm.
around you.
Exactly.
So,
Very true.
so how would I like find those who I should be surrounding my self with? Because I've become a very reclusive, self-isolating person who hasn't
So
really made the
And
best choices in the past on
you
who I
said the
surround
word
myself
right
with.
there. It's a
Yeah.
choice, right?
mm-hmm.
You
Right.
find people that you want to be like or that you want characteristics like, and then you pick and choose what elements you want from them, and then you move on to the next, right? You may not want the life mission has or we the people has, but you may want to be social like they are, right?
Yeah.
So you surround yourself with them, and eventually what happens is you start picking up those characteristics. Go
Mm-hmm.
to
Right.
VFW if you like being around vets. You don't have to be
Yep.
a part of it, but go socialize with them and find the ones in there that you actually want to talk to.
See, I'm
And
I'm
and I
I'm a bit more cautious. Um all right, so I'm a non-I'd deployed 11 IT Bravo who I'd survived MS-IT and that I'd messed me up. And a part of the issue I have is like hanging out with other veterans. I tend to judge myself very harshly.
We all do.
I because
Yep.
in a way I feel like my service like I wasn't as I meaningful as someone who
So
has
can I stop you right there, Jason?
yes, so you
Because,
can.
and this is one thing I try to tell other veterans that say the same thing. Okay. You can't compare your service to anybody else's because everybody experiences things differently. Okay. Don't
All right.
ever let anybody diminish your service. You signed a contract. You did your time. You did what you did. Your experience is not going to be the same as mine, Dr. Kevin, Shorties,
Mm-mm.
Chaps, Mrs. Sarge, anybody that's here right now.
All right.
And
Do
don't
you know
let
what?
anybody tell you any different.
Do you know what a bronze star or a silver star and $3 gets you?
Uh,
Still a cup of coffee at
Cup of
McDonald's,
coffee.
true.
right?
Yeah.
Your medals and awards, your deployments, none of that shit matters, man. And to any, I'll call it real vet, right? Anyone who's actually done time on deployments operationally, none of us give a crap about whether you deployed or not. No one gives a crap how
Okay.
many medals or decorations you have. No one gives a crap if you were in for a month or 60 years. You're either a vet or you're not. That's what
Right.
we care about.
And
And
Be a good
something you
person.
yeah, it's who
um
you are as an individual, not what medals you have on a piece of paper.
Right.
and just
Um,
before
uh,
you got it, Jason,
thank you
real
guys. Yep.
quick, just just before you got into that, you were saying something too that I do want to touch on, and it's taking that first step, taking the first. How do you find the people to do? You take the first step. Exactly what you did. You came into this live and you took a step. You got out of your comfort zone to come up in a box to talk to us.
Yeah, I am very much out of my comfort zone, but y'all seem like people who are very knowledgeable and able to help on journeys like this.
Mike,
Can
This
I
is
say
Sarge.
something real quick?
What's up?
Yeah, hold on. Miss Sarge is up here first. I'm gonna give her an opportunity to talk if she wants to
Mm-hmm.
talk, and then I'm gonna go to Chap, and then I'll come back to you, Ninja.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got a really good civilian aspect of this. I'm no contact with a lot of my family, pretty much all of them, and have been that way for 10 plus years. My identity that I struggled with after that was difficult because I went through homelessness, I went through rebuilding, I went through all of that identity to try and find myself once separated from my family. And that was
Thanks, Dr.
both
Kevin.
the most gut wrenching, hardest thing that I've ever actually gone through. And there's going to be those hardships. It's going to feel like you're hitting setback after setback. But like they're saying, Jason, you got to celebrate those small little wins, and you start make a list. Fucking make a list of every
Yeah,
little, and put it in a jar, write it on a piece of paper, put it in a jar, and look at the end of the week, look at the end of the year and how filled that jar is, and you're going to see that okay, it's not so hard. It's not so difficult. It's not so daunting.
All right.
For me, it was literally celebrating every little win. Like whether it was getting out of my car, whether it was not sleeping under fucking underpass or an overpass, it
Yeah.
was finding those little wins every single time as I was rebuilding my life in my young 20s. That was, and the identity of not having family like that still I struggle with, but I know who I am without them is better than who I was with them.
Okay.
and you've built a family.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I drive 45 minutes up there.
It
Oh,
identity and your what was vision, I think it was the other one, identity versus
image.
image. You know, I struggle with being raw and vulnerable, but this is not normally my thing, and Mike knows that. I don't get in boxes, not like this. Um, you know, there were many nights that when I was homeless, that I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do. I didn't know when I was gonna fucking you know work next, eat next, any of that shit. So like I said, it's celebrate your small wins. And like somebody said in the chat, Jason, don't let nobody diminish how big it is to you,
All right.
because
That includes. I
your
was,
go ahead, Mike.
I was just say, then that includes yourself. You shouldn't
100%.
allow yourself to
Absolutely.
diminish your own service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
that is something I need to work on as is not allowing myself to do that.
But you
I'm
know,
gonna.
you took, like you said, you took a big step, and you took a big step in being vulnerable, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Um,
Thank you as well.
um, you know, you're in a safe group here, man. Like, and that's both like in the group or even privately with any of us. Like,
Yep.
you can get a hold of us if you need to chat, man. Like,
Alrighty.
we'll walk with you through it.
All
Yeah,
right.
we sure
Awesome.
will.
Awesome. Thank you. That actually means like a lot to hear it from y'all.
Absolutely, man. Chap.
Anytime.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, Jason. My name's Chap. I'm a chaplain in the VA in Detroit.
Oh,
And
hey, how you doing?
hey, nice to meet you. I'm
Likewise.
thanks, man. 10.5 year Marine Corps veteran. Did not deploy to Desert Storm or Desert Shield. My squadron was deploying when I had orders to PCS to another duty station, and they chose to let me go on my orders to California. And they went to Desert Storm without me. Issues with that, you know. I don't have the fruit salad that a bunch of other people have. I didn't go to combat. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And there were times where I was judging myself for that. But I've been hanging out with these folks now for about maybe 4 months. I'm not sure.
Yeah, roughly.
Seems like a lifetime because they're so awesome.
All right. Awesome.
Not because it's, been forever and it's drudging on, but because not once, and I've always been open about not going to combat, not once has one person in this group ever judged me or said that I'm less of a veteran or I'm less of a Marine because I didn't deploy. It wasn't my choice. It was the Marine Corps' choice. And
Right.
They're
Yep.
called orders for a reason.
Yeah.
We don't get to decide where we go or when we go.
Right.
We're ordered to go.
Now I was, prepped to go. Our squadron was spooling up in August of '90 to go to Desert Shield, and then we didn't go. I mean, we had pallets on the hangar deck, and we were getting jets ready, and all the other squadrons were giving us all the parts that we needed to get all 12 jets ready. We had F-18s. They still have F-18s and VMFA 235.
Yep.
But we didn't go. We didn't go. And then in January, I had orders to California. We were in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. And I had orders to go work for the wing general. And my squadron had the choice to take 2 maintenance control officers or 1. And the squadron said, no, let her go to her PCS. So I could have taken that 2 different ways. The way I take it is, that was the colonel's choice, and the colonel is the colonel. Like Mike said, orders are orders. But also, I didn't have to suffer a lot of things that the veterans that went there had to suffer, which I hate that they have to suffer those things. The Southwest Asian diseases and the shots that they got and all the different things that they experienced are terrible. I don't have burn pit issues. I don't have any of that. Does that make me a better person? No. It makes me a Marine, period.
Exactly.
And this group right here, Jason, is the best group of people. Veterans, veteran spouses. It is the best group of people. They love you unconditionally. If you're having a hard time, they're going to reach out to you. They're going to be there for you. I'm going to say we. Excuse me. We care about veterans. We're not here for a show. We're not here to brag about how many lives we saved. We're just here to help each other because we all served. Now we're out. What do we need? Who are we? Where are we going in life? What do we need help with? Where are we struggling? That's what we did in the service, and that's what we're doing for each other now. So I'm available to you. I sent you a follow, a connect. And if you want to DM me anytime, I'm on here all the time. Unfortunately, it's probably become an addiction, and I'll need to talk to my therapist about that.
No.
No, I graduated from therapy. But you know, there's a lot of chatter and talk from me just to say you've been led to the right place, and you just hang out with these folks because you're going to be all right.
OG, welcome up, brother. How are you tonight?
I'm doing
Oh,
well.
sorry.
I'm just here to sex things up a bit. That's all.
Okay.
Oh,
Best looking 60-year-old I know.
That's right. That's right. See, everybody knows now. Everybody knows now. I am the OG 60-year-old eye candy.
So, before I get to you, OG, I want to let Ninja had something that she was trying to talk on, and I kind of went around.
No,
So I want to get to her.
Oh, sorry.
Go
No,
ahead.
I just wanted to tell Jason, when you find the people that you click with, you're gonna know, because you can walk into a live and be unapologetically you and say what you have to say, and they'll be like, oh damn, okay, Jason, we got your back. Or anybody here, I'm learning that with these guys, Shorty, Mike, and you will also find that they will tell you the hard things. We will tell you what you don't want to hear, and nobody's gonna get mad. But I'm learning the hard way to be able to talk to these guys, and I've known them for ever, I guess it seems like. But okay, yeah, don't smile, Mike. You know the truth. But find people that you can be unapologetically you.
Right.
That will be there for you through the good times, through the times where you're just like, F the world, I'm gonna burn it down, and we'll be like, okay, let's, so yeah, find the tribe.
that
Through the
uplift you.
tears,
One,
through
the
anything.
ones that have
Encouraging
zero to
you.
gain from it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Pretty much. I've only recently started talking in the groups because I wanted to. I just hung out and just listened to what these guys were saying, and every part of the country has these groups where if you're not just you don't just have to get it on TikTok either. It's like I'm in Southeast Florida. I don't know where you're from, Jason, but I'm in Southeast Florida, and I ran into the guys from Barracks Legend, and we get veterans together at no cost to them, and just do stuff so that you can meet other veterans, and find somebody that you click with, and next thing you know, you're going to barbecues with them, you're hanging out with them, you're doing family things with them. This Saturday we're doing airboat rides, and it's just veterans. We do fishing tournaments. We do, we're working on a concert, golf tournaments. We do all that stuff, and everything is corporate sponsored now. So it doesn't cost any of our veterans anything to get to meet and hang out with other veterans.
Where are you guys located?
So it's basically in South Florida. I'm in Fort Lauderdale myself, and the guy who runs it, his name is Angelo. He's 100% disabled Marine veteran who runs
Same
it.
here.
He lives in Palm Beach, and but
Hey, Ninja,
we do
I'm
stuff
gonna
all
rotate you
throughout
out.
South Florida.
Alrighty, thanks, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you, Ninja.
Yeah, no, that's great. I live in Nashua, New Hampshire right now, but I'm moving to Tampa in like a year and a half. Basically, I'm looking to do the VA home loan down there because not a lot of veterans know this, is that you can do multiple VA home loans if your house is cheap enough, and you can stack loans on it, and you can get a rental property and another VA loan for your house that you personally live in and stuff.
Yeah, I think the dollar amount, you just got to keep it like underneath 750 or something like that.
So it depends on your county. It's if it's under. So for my county right now, Nashua, New Hampshire, it's under like $806,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Love that we're connecting here. Want to kind of drive it back to the topic that we're talking about. Just kind of talking
I
about
will.
identity after conflict and kind of what that looks like.
Absolutely. Sorry about
So,
that.
Yeah, sorry about that. I
no, you're
apologize.
fine.
All right.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
I have to get going, but I will keep listening to y'all.
Yep.
All
Thank you,
right. It was
Jason.
nice to meet Hi, you.
All right.
Jason. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
yeah,
Nice
mission.
to meet you.
I got you a follow, brother.
Yeah, mission. So I definitely like after getting out. I've done a bunch of things. Trying to find my identity. I got yoga trained. I was a biologist. I was a student. A barista working at Starbucks. I did a bunch of different things, right? So I had a collection of experiences. But the best thing I found was finding my home at church. Was my biggest thing, right? Like finding God and having that, getting sober and finding God was the biggest thing I ever did, and asking for help was amazing after finding sobriety and finding God.
Okay. And, I can relate to that. That was one thing that was missing in part of my identity because I didn't have a lot of, I had faith. I just lost faith, after deployment and getting out and everything else. I was angry,
Of course.
for a lot of different reasons. And I questioned everything. After my twins were born, things made a shift.
Absolutely.
And that became part of my identity as well. I just
And
kind of that
Semper
bedrock
Fi,
of,
brother.
Semper Fi, but it's that bedrock of foundation or that bedrock of foundation that I've built everything else off of, because all the principles and the morals are right there. And I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole because.
Do you feel that your faith has kind of guided you to a place of stability? Because that's what it's done for me.
Yes and no, because I don't practice my faith as much as I should or the way I should.
Sure.
So I find that I struggle more when I don't, because I lose focus of what my identity is, and that's why I talked about identity and image.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get wrapped up of what do other people think of me, or what do I look? How am I perceived?
Sure.
Yep.
I shouldn't worry about that so much, and be more focused on who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Screw what everybody else thinks.
I'm actually starting I'm talking to my church right now to start a military Christian ministry there, to start bringing the guys together and kind of talk about this stuff, because it's like, how do we serve church? How do we serve our family, our communities, and most importantly, God in a better way, right? And I think like once we're able to do that, you start to find your meaning, because again, God gives you purpose, and if you don't have that really as a center point in your life, you kind of are drifting,
Chap, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Mike. So, Living, good to see you here.
Oh, great to see you, Chaplain. It's great to see you.
You too, buddy. Take care. So Mike, here's my question, and this occurred to me about a year ago as I was studying and writing for my specialty in chaplaincy. How does our identity change morally as we are still developing our morals, when many of us join the military, we're 17, 18, or even 22 years old? We're still really developing our morals as young people. And then we get put into conflict. And we haven't even fully developed our morals. Do you think that affects our identity coming out the other side? It's the deep one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know it is, and I'm trying to think of how I want to answer that. And if anybody else wants to jump on that question, you're more than happy to, while I'm trying to search for an answer. But
I'd say
it's not a simple yes.
Can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Yes, I think that I'm probably the oldest veteran on this panel. Probably served before some of you were even, born. I think what happens is that you, as you grow and you get older, you find that your moral core, it's so funny that you go back, especially Marines more so than other branches. I think we go back to some of the things that we learned about brotherhood and sisterhood in the Marine Corps. And we
Hmm.
really do have a moral center. And I think as we get older, we get more centered into that moral center and we know the difference between right and wrong. And I think that we believe in God, we believe in family, and we believe in this country. And you really don't appreciate it until you are older. Trust me, the older you get, the more you appreciate it. I probably didn't have my moral center when I joined the Marine Corps at 21, but I can tell you that it is what has centered me as I've gotten older and now that I'm in my 60s. I can tell you that the things that I learned then are very much where my moral compass is today. And
Hmm.
That's great.
I know that sounds kind of crazy to say that, but I have, you know, I, it took a lot of healing and a lot of faith in fellow Marines. Now, so that you all understand, I am a legacy family. So my sibling and I joined the Marine Corps together in 1986. He
Wow.
spent 27 years and I did 3.5. I was also one of the first women who actually uh, had a case that was MST. And in 1997, I testified before Congress about women's health care issues within the VA, and then again in 2012. So I've been always on that edge of trying to get help for female veterans and Native American veterans and things that we can do. And
That's great.
Yeah,
I've been very blessed in the fact that the very organization that was supposed to help me and take care of me is the one that broke my heart. But at the same time, it was my fellow Marines who were men who wound up being career military members who helped me heal. It was the
Of
men and
course.
women that I served with that had, continued careers in the Marine Corps that helped me understand that one or two bad people in the Marine Corps does not make the Marine Corps and everybody else bad itself. And it took me many years to heal and recover and understand that. And part of that goes back to that moral center again, where you get a morality that you learn and you find as you get older, a lot of people, and I will tell you, I didn't have an easy time, especially in the 90s. There was no care. I spent 14 months in a mental health facility because when I left the Marine Corps, I had such a severe eating disorder that I attempted to take my life. I was very fortunate in the fact that my family had the ability to seek the help that for me that I needed. But without the help of my family, without the help of other Marines, and without the help of God, I wouldn't be here today and have the family that I have, nor would I have had the career that I had. So I feel
Amen.
very fortunate for that.
Amen. 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 That's great.
So,
so
so Chap,
Chap, I'm go ahead, Bob, and then I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
to kind of answer on what your question was, I think your identity after conflict it blends lessons learned, your strengths that were gained and pain endured during that conflict into new values and purpose, which creates a more grounded, mature, and self-aware identity with it.
Wow. You
I,
sound.
I go,
So
go ahead. Sorry about that, Mission.
I'm I'm gonna answer your question in two parts. So the the military, whether it's um, Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, Navy, okay, you get a set of principles and morals. You've already had them growing up. I mean, everybody has. You get taught not to lie, steal, cheat, this, that, and the other, right? So you have those basic principles when you enter the service. Those kind of get skewed a little bit along the way, but they're still there. But your moral compass kind of centers up during that time in service. Now, the other piece of it that I think, being young depends on the situation that you're in. I talked about this a little bit the other night on a different live. Um, because the way you perceive something isn't the same way that somebody else perceives something.
Exactly.
So, um, we'll take example. So I was a martial arts instructor in the Marine Corps, right? So we had to do the warrior ethos and classes and stuff. And with Tan Belt, one of the questions was, how do we view ethics and morality? So we always pose the question, is stealing wrong? 98% of people will raise their hand and say, yeah, stealing's wrong. The 2% could justify it because they've been in situations where they were basically homeless. They didn't know when their next meal was going to come from. They didn't know the next time they were going to eat. For them to steal a loaf of bread to get something to eat, to them, that was right and they were justified at that time. So it kind of depends on the perspective of what you're looking at it at from that point in time. Now, that goes back to your identity of what your principles are built on. And that's why I say, perspective, it can always change.
Of course. Chaplain, can I say something?
Mike, were you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's great. Hang on one sec, Living, and I'm not trying to drive this panel at all. I just felt for a second like I was leading it, and I'm like, I don't want to do that.
No, I love the question, though.
Okay. So just, takes me back to my work, helping other veterans see that what they went through, what happened to them, the things that they saw, the things that they experienced, the things that where two morals clashed up against each other and they had to make a snap decision in a high stakes situation where they really had to go with their training. Helping these people, and those aren't the only people that live with moral injury, but helping these veterans realize that yes, these things happen, but they're like actors on a stage. You can see it in a different light, and helping them, to do that is sometimes very difficult.
So, and that's why I said in the military that gets a little skewed because survival will always take over in a judgment situation.
Yeah.
Mission, can I say
Go
something?
ahead, Livin.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like when I was in Afghanistan and like we were patrolling and stuff like that, like we'd come across people that were destitute, they couldn't survive on their own, and we'd have a little bit of food and give it to them. But like I wanted to help more. I had a big heart, and it was like a big moral injury for me not being able to help these people even more. Like we had 12-year-old girls having children, and their babies had bed sores on them, and we couldn't help them, and they were left to raise this child on their own, and we couldn't do anything to save this young child, this 12-year-old, from their own child, right? Like it was this very sad. So I think morals, you get a moral injury, early on in your life, and you have to kind of recover from that for years and years and years. And I think the only thing that really drives home your recovery is that foundation in God, because like he takes the burden away from you. He takes that from you and heals you himself. Because if you try to do it alone, you're not going to achieve it.
Welcome up, Brent. How are you, brother?
All right.
I'm doing well. I hope
I'm out.
my language is
Hi, Chap.
not too slow. I've always said this, and I used it when I had my own children as well. I recognize I was probably about 8 or so when I would begin to tell fibs to protect my own hide.
Mm-hmm.
At 10, even though I knew right from wrong, I got caught stealing comic books from a corner store.
Mm-hmm.
I had to work all summer for that corner store and give the comic books back, not to mention the ass whooping I got, right? So my point, it doesn't, I think there's some point in childhood where most of us learn what's right and wrong. And it usually is about the same time we start fibbing to protect ourselves. That's different for somebody with a mental capacity, a mental handicap or something like that. They might grow to 30 and still not know right from wrong. Even though they're kind, they might not know right from wrong.
Right.
For those that I was listening to the conversation, and it led a lot to what the military trains. That generally happens. I was an instructor, and that generally happens when parenting failed along the way. That goes to that breakdown and buildup. Do you agree?
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Where a trainee comes in and his parents were absent, and he just joined the service for the job. He doesn't have the guidance through formative teenage years to understand what it means to be a man yet. So we got to do that. The military does that. In college, it's missing unless there's a coach involved. So there's a lot of more mistakes made at the same era or same age group in college than there are in the military, because it's our job on the line generally.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we don't make mistakes. We continue to make mistakes all along life until we decide, you know what, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it to be drunk and trying to drive home at 2:00 when the club closes. It's just not worth it. But leaving at 10 after one drink, we can live with. Even though we might still get popped for a DUI if we have to blow a test, but at least it's a more responsible choice. Does that make sense? We each make responsibility choices based upon the perceived threat of trouble.
Hey, man. So we kind of went down a side road here on. No, you're fine. I'm gonna steer it back, but we went down this side road of morality, and we're going down discussing morals. Now, how does that translate into your identity?
For me, I went through my career. I went through my career filled with my high school Bible. Never tried to convert anybody. As soon as I got out, it was my faith that allowed me to survive my 4 war zones.
Okay.
It's my faith that keeps me going today. My morality and my identity is more in line with what I believe is my calling. It does. I've been out 20 years, as long as I was in. The military doesn't define me. My injuries don't define me. So my identity is that I choose to be today.
Perfect. More of is what I talked about in the beginning. Identity is the principles, and God damn it, that you're built, that your identity is built on is the principles and the morals. I mean, they all go hand in hand. Principles, morals, build the identity.
Mission, did you find that you had I consider myself more of a Marine now that I'm out than when I was in. I relate to be more of a Marine now that I'm out, because I wear Marine Corps stuff. When I was in, I never wore Marine Corps anything. Now I want to be recognized as a Marine more than any time in my life.
No, I'm no different now than when I was in. I wear Marine Corps stuff. I've got a whole office here that's memorabilia. This reminds me of that time, but I don't have to wear it to remember that I'm a Marine. I knew I was a Marine then. I'm still a Marine. That's not I'll wear a Marine hat from time to time. Don't get me wrong, but it's it is part of my identity, because it gave me those principles that I've rebuilt my life on, and helped me find my faith, which is another cornerstone. It's the leadership principles that I got from the Marine Corps, the
core values.
the core values. Thank you, Shorty. I'm
You're
filtering
welcome.
here.
You're good. You're
but
good.
but doesn't it feel like I get a sense of pride off of that now, right? Like not looking for attention, but the wearing a Marine Corps shirt, like I feel like I'm putting back on a uniform of some sort by doing it, right? Like I'm getting that sense of pride of doing that stuff.
And that's fine. But that goes back to what we was talking about earlier is that image or identity? Because, image is one thing, people put on a mask or a costume to make people see what they want them to see. I don't have
I think
to.
identity is how you carry yourself. That's not
Exactly.
an
That's what I was
image.
getting to.
It's how you
I,
carry yourself. You're carrying yourself in such a way
Mm-hmm.
that you carry it in your walk with your shoulders
yeah,
back, with your head held high.
Of course.
It's not putting on a shirt or wearing a hat. It's
No,
all
no,
in
I'm
how
not.
you
I'm not.
present.
I'm
No,
not.
no,
I'm
no.
not.
I'm not talking about you. I'm saying
Yeah.
what it is. It's all about how you carry yourself, how
Of
you carry
course.
yourself with your in every aspect of your life. But I just want to say something
yeah,
really quick and then I'll go. And I didn't mean to interrupt, but I
you're
found
fine.
it very interesting that you're talking about the moral and that the chaplain brought up the moral injury part because I have been advocating that moral injury is actually something that the VA needs to be treating because I personally don't think that the moral injury part of some of the issues that all veterans suffer from is being properly addressed because I do think that there is a moral injury aspect of that that people suffer and we're not talking about that. There's various forms of treatment, but they're not including that as either a diagnosis or as a treatment. And I was wondering how on a spiritual level she's doing that because it seems like the moral injury is something that either people are hesitant to talk about or they're embarrassed to talk about. And I was just curious what her opinion was on that.
I would say DM me and we can have a conversation on the side about that because I just completed my specialty, studied for it for 3 years, and we are treating it at the Detroit VA. So DM me. We don't want to distract from the conversation here, and we can
Okay,
have
thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Be happy to talk to
I
you about it.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'm
Welcome.
sorry I interrupted you, Mission. Sorry.
No, thank you.
You're
But,
fine.
that was getting to the point that I was getting ready to make is I don't have to wear that hat or that shirt for people to know I'm a Marine. It's the way I carried
Right.
myself. It's the way I
Yes.
talk.
Of course, of course. But
They,
I like to though. Like I like to wear a something that reminds me myself of it. Right. That's all I'm saying. Like I
yep.
like that image to be
Yep.
there with me because it holds me accountable sometimes when I can't do it myself. Right.
Okay. What's up, Bob? It looks like you're just chomping at the bit to speak.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jose and I have other
OG.
people in the queue. And so I wanted to thank you. As Shorty, it's good to see you. We don't
Good to see you
interact nearly
too.
enough. And
Yeah, that's
it's always
right.
nice to see other female Marines, love seeing our sister Marines here. And for those of you who don't know, in my family, there's actually four of us that are female Marines. So I'm
Awesome.
fortunate in the fact that I have a lot of females that I can
Super
relate
five.
to.
Well, I
Super
Yes,
bet you
five.
ma'am.
guys were troublemakers.
We're not troublemakers. we're trouble, not troublemakers.
And we're
Hey
all
guys,
three different generations of the Marines too. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm actually a piece of history, ladies. I was actually on deck at Paris Island the day we became 4th Battalion, and then my one of my girls was on deck when they decommissioned Paris Island. So that's how far
wow.
it spans. Yeah,
Hoorah.
so that's pretty interesting.
Mission, I just
Wow.
want to
Thank
thank you very much for doing all this stuff. I'm definitely gonna.
Yeah,
After we
absolutely.
follow, I'll be back. I love the stream and stuff like that. It's great. Thank you so much, and I'm gonna drop down to let
Yep.
somebody else come up and stuff.
Night
Yep.
living.
Thank
Absolutely. Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So
Rich.
So,
So Mission, thank you, and I'm gonna let you drop me. And Shorty,
yep.
again, it's good to see you, honey. Mission, I followed you. I followed Mike. I followed We the People. So you and Chappie, I followed you. So I will come back and interact, and you know, um,
Great.
let me know if there's anything that I can do or any resources I can provide. I have a lot of free time now, so I am able to do a lot more. So just send me a message, and I'm more than happy to come up anytime that you want to talk about something that relays to careers after the military or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
great night.
Thank you.
So, OG, want to kind
Yes.
of circle back to you and
Yes.
get
So
some
what?
thoughts from you, man.
Absolutely, brother. So, as far as identity goes, I've now been out for 40 years. Well, close to 40 years, not quite 40 yet. But for me, I have a switch where when it's appropriate for me to be the Marine and it's appropriate for me to be corporate. And
Yes.
you see, so like when it comes to doing my stuff for other veterans or whatnot, yeah, I'll throw on a Marine T-shirt, I'll throw on a Marine hat, I'll run around and oorah and do the whole 9 yards. But when I was physically attached to the office, the only thing I had in my office was I had a coffee mug with pens in it that said United States Marine Corps. So if the topic came up, I could do it. If it didn't come up, it was just there. But as far as being in the corporate world, being a Marine helped me tremendously because I had great clarity and focus in my profession. And you know how you get your MOS and you're focused on that MOS. You kind of know what the other guys do, but you don't do what the other guys do. So you don't really put that effort into what they're doing. So, for me, I was a 2841. I was a radio tech. All right. So, I had a brain, scored a 94 on my ASVAB. There you go. I threw it out there. All right. So, but that, you know what I mean? That's a Marine thing. Right? It is what it is. But at my office, I was a manager within a year. I was a coordinator within a decade. And now I'm doing it for 14 dealerships from my home. I don't even go into an office anymore because what I learned about staying on task, learning what I need to learn so that I could do the job properly, which is all we really did. We just wanted to succeed. And, we all know what happened to the shitbirds. They got canned. So don't be a shitbird. Go ahead.
You bring up the Marine, and I laugh at this because this is one thing I struggle with. Where did it hinder you when you first started in the corporate world?
All right. So it took me about 4 or 5 years before I got there. Okay. And part of the problem was the outside influences, saying, when, how do I put this in the right way? So
reaction to outside influences.
Exactly. So here I was, when I got out, I guess I was about 22, 23. So when I got out, everybody knew, okay, my Marine brother is home, although none of them were Marines. We're going out, we're going to go have a few drinks, and we're going to go out and fight, and we're going to watch you fight. That was my first year out of the service. My friends just wanted to watch me fight. Okay. And I was happy to do it, and the thing was that all they knew was I was a Marine. They didn't know I fixed radios. They didn't know that I wasn't a grunt. They didn't know I didn't deploy and go fight. We didn't fight Russia in the 80s. We didn't fight anybody in the 80s. But I had enough training to where I knew this average street guy wouldn't have a shot. So that's what I did. After that, I learned that I was an extrovert. So I kind of had the gift of gab and I had brains. And so I went into sales so I could make money. And within a year or so of doing sales, just trying to figure it out, I came up with this banging idea and I took it to a company and they jumped on it. And for 6 months, and we're talking back in 1988, 1989, I was making 40 grand a month, and I made it for 6 months. Back then, you know, you probably seen them. You walk into a store and it was like, donate a quarter, take a mint kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Vending machines, okay? So my idea back then was, I bet you I could sell vending machines if they said Weight Watchers on them and Slim Fast on them. That was my idea. No, there were Weight Watchers vending machines. There was Slim Fast vending, the Lean machine. That was me, okay? But here was the thing. The vending company, we set it up beautiful. We went to business, the business expos where you start your own business. I was
Mm-hmm.
selling my little mechanical machines for $750 a piece, and you had to buy 5 to start your own route. And they were costing me maybe $1.50 to build. So we were just cranking. 6 months later, I get a call from Weight Watchers, and I thought I had it made. I wasn't even 30 years old yet. I thought I had it made. Weight Watchers called me up and said, we just had a client call us and tell us that the snacks aren't selling in the machines. People don't go to a vending machine for a healthy snack. They want a Snickers bar.
Yep.
So I
So,
was out of business.
Sunflower, welcome up and give you an opportunity to talk on your thoughts on identity after the fight.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. I haven't been here for too long, so I was trying to catch up on the conversation and everything a little bit. But to answer the question, identity after the fight, I don't know much as far as, being in the service side of things. I'm more of the milspouse side of things. So I'll say on the milspouse side of things, it is a different world, obviously. One of the hardest parts about trying to find your identity, especially as a milspouse, because most of the time you sit there and are told, that you're stealing the identity of the service member, which there are some spouses that do that, obviously. There are some spouses that sit there and wear the rank of their husband and, and all that other stuff. But finding your identity as a spouse is very difficult, especially whenever you PCS all over the place, right? You're constantly moving, you're constantly changing friends. Your best friend that you had in the whole wide world is still back at home and supports you, but it's different, in every aspect of your life and every move that you'd make. Your identity changes throughout the years. I was not the same small town girl from Amarillo, Texas that I am today. It has changed me in a lot of ways for the better, obviously, but also there has been a lot of conflict with that over the years. A lot of the issues within the milspouse community comes from the milspouse community. We sit there and belittle each other and we shoot daggers at each other all day long, because if one of us is overshadowing the other and being more successful than the other, then we have to sit there and start this whole rumor mill of trying to see if we can outshine each other type of thing. There's no sisterhood or brotherhood or anything like that. It's kind of like a free-for-all. And so trying to find your identity in that is very difficult, especially, obviously I'm a mom. That is part of my identity, first and foremost, has been since my first daughter was born in 2009. I can never change that about myself. That is just who I am from that point on. I'm a wife, and I'm a Christian first and foremost. I'm not trying to bring religion into this or anything, but trying to find out who you really are, though, underneath all that, and not just being just the milspouse is very difficult. So I had a lot of health issues a few years ago before I got on TikTok. And I started down this health journey, and I always wanted to, write a cookbook and do something for myself. And so that's kind of what I did. I went into a cooking course over at the Ruby College. It was a 2-year cooking course that I completed in 9 months. And then I wrote a cookbook, and I realized that my passion in my core is creativity. I love being creative. I was a part of the dance and theater world when I was 19 years old. And so after 14 years of my husband being in and me just kind of staying home, taking care of the kids and just being the mill spouse, I kind of had a little bit of a light bulb right there for myself, at least after all the years of PCSing and deployments and everything. I was like, I need something for myself. I need an identity for myself. I don't know what that is just yet, but when I did the cooking courses and I made my cookbook and I realized how much I thrive off of creativity, was whenever I started actually doing my TikToks. I totally loved doing, the blind reactions and everything like that. But then I fell into the Mill Talk side of things, obviously. And I started listening to veterans and their stories. And I realized, part of my identity isn't just, obviously my being a mom, being a spouse, my creativeness and everything. I love helping people in my core, in my actual core of who I am. I love helping people. I love being there for people. If that means being on the phone with someone or just listening to a story of a older veteran or something like that, being able to understand someone and see them for who they truly are. And then on top of that, obviously, I do my charity work and everything too, which I absolutely love. I don't do it for the attention of it. I do it because it's the right thing to do, and it's a part of who I am. And so over the years, with all of the struggles that I've had, PCSing with 4 kids is not easy. I'll say that much, especially when you PCS 11 times in 18 years. Jared's almost out, by the way. Freaking hell. 2 years left. But it's like with every single PCS, it takes a little part of you and your family. What people don't see behind the scenes with PCSing with families is every house that you enter, you leave a piece of yourself in that house. And every single time you move, it gets harder and harder because you're leaving behind memories of your child's first steps and everything. And that changes you throughout the years, I went through a period where I just felt numb with all of the repetitiveness, which is why I started seeking, an identity for myself and everything. And I honestly, I appreciate the journey. I appreciate the lessons because I wouldn't be the same person I am today without them. Even the bad lessons, like even the ones that are the conflicts and everything, I appreciate those because it made me who I am today. And so one of the quotes that I absolutely love is from St. Catherine of Siena. And it goes like this: be who you were meant to be, and you will set the world on fire. Be who you were meant to be, and you will set the world on fire. So that's my little spill. I'll leave it alone now. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
So watch this. Hey, Chief. Uncle, how you doing this evening, brother?
You garbage.
Garbage.
Nah, you just good, man. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, you've been in here for a minute listening.
Yeah, I've been
what's
listening.
your thoughts on the what's your thoughts on the conversation so far?
I mean, I'd agree with what a lot of people said. I wouldn't disagree with anything, but I think identity changes because before you went in the military, for me, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but for me, I was a certain way, did certain things a certain way, and then you get in the military and those things were gone because now your identity changes because you're putting on a uniform. right? And so now you're
Yep.
doing something completely different. Then you grow up, especially when you were young. You came in young, you kind of grow up, right? Your identity changed a
Hmm.
little bit. And then you do a few years in the military. And like for me, I did a few years and then my identity's different. And
Yeah.
then now I'm out. I don't have a uniform anymore. So that identity of who I was is different now. I'm no longer that person in a uniform. And I heard what you said, and I agree with it. Once you're a service member in the Marine Corps, you're always a Marine. Yeah, you're a service member, right? That doesn't change.
Right.
That's always part of you. But your identity changes because for that many years you were in a uniform.
Yes.
That uniform's gone. So now now you got to figure out. Well, I do. I got to figure out where do I fit in now,
Yeah.
right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
completely different deal. So that's why I don't disagree with people said. But yeah, your identity changes, and it's going to change on how you want it to be, I guess, at that point. But for me, it's you're no longer in a uniform. Identity's gone. Still a
Yeah.
service member, but that identity of me in a uniform is gone. I'm not wearing that uniform anymore. I'm not going to either.
So
So now you just got to figure out your niche in the world.
I was gonna say, so where now that you're on that journey, where do you how do you how do you grow past that now? I mean, because you're kind of on the tail end of it, or you kind of new on the other side of it.
What do you mean?
So, well, you just retired not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
Been maybe a couple, 2, 3 years,
Yeah.
maybe not even that.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, yeah, almost exactly. What are we in? January?
Yeah.
Yep.
February
20.
28th. Well, 29th, right? Because I returned on a leap year, but 28th will be 2 years for me.
Okay. So now that you're 2 years removed, how have you grown from that? I mean, what's your identity
Yeah, I
look
see
like
what
now?
I don't know because I'm still I don't know if I'd say I'm still trying to figure things out, but I'm trying to see what I like to do different. What the gentleman that said earlier, I can't remember who it was about wearing like the military hat or the uniform, not the uniform, but a
Right.
shirt or something like that.
Uh huh.
Like I have a lot of shirts that I still wear. That identity is still with me, right? So I'll
Right.
wear that. People will see that, and sometimes they'll be like, "Yo, man," I forget what I'm wearing, right? I'm like, "How do you know?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was in the military, blah blah," right? So that still comes into play, but for me, man, I think I'm just like kind of just figuring it out, dude. I'm doing school, right? Starting to get into woodwork, just something that I've never done before,
Yeah.
you know. But basically just being retired, dude, not having to get up and do things like that. Like I get to live my life the way I want to. So I'm just kind of going slow, man, figuring out what I have time to do what I want to do now.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. It's I don't even know how to say it, but
No,
I guess I'm still
it's
trying to
a
figure it out.
yeah. I mean, it's a process. It's like you said that part of you, it's over with. I mean, and now you got to figure out what you're going to. Basically, the existential question is, what do I do with my life now? So now you try to find something to. I don't know so much as fill your time, but what am I going to be known for or as? I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, I
I mean,
guess.
we,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, I don't know if I really look at it to like, what are people gonna look at me as, or what am I gonna look at myself as? I think for me now, it's like all those
Finding your niche
years
in
being in the
life.
middle. Yeah, I don't even know if it's find a niche in life. I think it's more like find what I want to do, what I'm gonna enjoy doing, and it's
Mm.
not work. And it's something that I just enjoy doing. That let's say I'm doing woodwork, right? And let's say I'm going to start a business with that. Is that going to be work? No, it's going to be something I enjoy. But when it comes into work, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not doing it. I don't
Yeah.
want that. You know what I'm saying? And
would
so,
it?
yeah,
He
when
needs some.
it
He
comes down
needs
to where
something to
it's
be
a
lazy
job.
about.
Yeah, like if it's a job, dude, I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it for that. And I got
But you
my
still would
job right
say,
now is taking care of my kids. That's my job, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I guess if my identity would be a stay-at-home dad to my kids is what my identity would be, and then my hobbies on the side. I guess. I don't
And there's
know.
nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah, and I'm good with it
What you got,
because
Bandit?
years you're
Oh, sorry,
going.
I didn't mean to cut you
No, you're
off.
good. Go ahead, go.
No, let him cook, man. Let him
Yeah.
cook.
No, it's that's just where I'm at, dude. Is I just look at like the identity part that changes. It's gonna change. Your identity always changes. It's what you want it to change to, I guess. That's my opinion. Some may or may agree or disagree with that.
So, Uncle, would you say that it's more of a loss of purpose, structure, and kind of community? I mean, I naturally myself big was on community, and granted, I've been out for a while now, but I naturally gravitated to the veteran community on here just because of that.
No, you know what? And I was thinking about this the other day. Matter of fact, I was listening to probably you guys or something like that, and kind of thinking about some lives that I did in the past, and really kind of looking at this veteran community, which I think is really out of whack right now. And I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing. Um, and I just started sitting there thinking one day, and I was like, I think we normally, well, always gravitate towards the military side when it comes to this stuff, right? Because if I'm talking, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If I say something, Mike will more than know what I'm talking about. Any military member that spent time in the military is gonna know what we're talking about. So it's easier to talk to those individuals, right? To where if you're talking to somebody who's never served and you're saying certain things, they have no clue and they're going to ask you millions and millions of questions. And at the point to where I'm like, I'm not here to answer your questions. I just want to have a conversation, right? And I can't have that conversation with certain people because they just don't know. And it's okay for them to ask questions, but I just probably don't feel like answering a million questions.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I would agree with you 100%.
Each piece of that builds is a part of your identity. I mean, yes, that chapter of your life is closed, but your identity from that hasn't changed, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I agree with that 100%.
So, it's part of being in the military is part of my identity. Hunting is part of my identity.
Yep.
I enjoy the outdoors. I can go down the list. I mean, I think we all have that.
Well, and I think there's a little bit, we all kind of sense to gravitate back towards the community too, because when there is that conflict, when there is that chaos, when there is that fight, it's more reactive versus all up in here all day long.
And I just seen something in the comments from Root, just because that's a piece of me, you shouldn't allow people to put you in a box, and that's the only thing that's your identity. We talked on Marine Docs Live the other night about that. Titles, and I look at titles as chapters in my life. They all intertwine. It's a long story, and I'm going to pick up other titles and other pieces of my identity. So there's going to be more to me going down the road.
Did you serve?
Did I serve?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I did.
Thank you for your service. What branch?
I was a United States Marine Corps.
Oh, you're a jarhead, huh?
Yep, I got an empty vessel up here.
What was your favorite color?
Bandit likes this one because I got it from him. Yellow because they taste like sunshine.
Red because
Oh, Bandit, I want to give you an opportunity to talk, and I want to go to Aggie. I want to give everybody.
Look at that.
Yeah, you are.
See that, buddy? Hey, look, I even got the snack pack version.
What's up, brother?
Oh my!
I think I sent Mike. I think I sent Mike a video I saw earlier on here There was one that was filled
Yes.
with orange crayons running for his freaking life, and there's some dude in full freaking camis chasing his fucking crayon down. The crayon jumps on top of an ice cream truck, starts talking shit, and the Marine's like, I guess I'm eating MREs tonight.
Oh. What you got on identity, brother?
Immediately after, because I've been pondering this while listening to everybody else, and I mean, it's kind of immediately after it was over with. Yes, there was a sense of whiskey tango foxtrot, and I've been sitting here pondering while everybody was talking. What was that? Why was that? Was it because there was a loss of a sense of belonging? Was it not having a clear and well-defined mission and well-defined expectations and all of that? Was the loss of that? Or what? So I'm going to have to get back to you on the immediate. I know the path that I went down after that. I mean, because I'm literally going to chew on that because that's got the 6 brain cells I have firing off in some kind of order.
I thought you only had 5 brain cells.
I have 6 brain cells. I'm just missing a little plastic thing that holds them all together. Immediately after, the identity switched, and not in a good way, man. I jumped headfirst into a bottle. Not a good thing. I went from being a sailor to a civilian sailor, and although they're similar, they're 2 entirely different worlds. But there is still a sense of structure and and direction there. But then not being on away and at sea, and being home, and the way I conducted myself and the way I handled things was not always in the. And it's not a crutch. I mean, I own that shit. I fucked up.
Yeah.
And I was a fucked up individual. And it took an ultimatum from the wife to say, look, you're either going to unfuck yourself or me and the kids are gone. That began the wake-up call. Long story short, that started the whole fight with the VA and that whole process of dealing with that shit show. And eventually, a few months ago, I landed here on this app. Just fuck it. Everybody else is doing it. The Chinese already have my information anyway. Who gives a shit anymore? That's just kind of the way it was. So that led me into falling in with, Marine Mike and Shorty and guys like that. And that led me into, We the People a little bit with Aggie and, some of the other guys, even down in the comments, and got me into those lives. Well, that led me to Justin Miller. And Justin was one of the ones that was doing the whole thing on the ACEs childhood trauma assessment. And I mean, we're talking just back in October. So we're just, a cricket fart back. That led me to a path of healing that I was not anticipating, didn't know I needed, but we're on that path, and that's a good fucking thing. Believe me, it's a good thing. I believe that it is so much of a good thing, and I've gained so much clarity and identity after that I am working with Justin and some people from Objective Zero to pursue what I believe is my follow-on mission, and there's more on that to come. I don't have all the details and the info yet, but I'm looking at getting a lot more actively involved on that app. And like Mike, you and I have talked about several times, if not us, who, and if not now, when.
When, yeah.
So that's it. And the answer to that is us and always, us and right freaking now. So, and that's kind of the whole thrust behind what I'm wanting to get done there. And I pray it goes well. And I mean, we'll see what happens. But man, the identity, shit, I'd like to be able to tell you I got it figured out. I don't. But at least now I'm not out of the woods yet, but I can see through the trees and shit. And I think there's a pasture over there and a couple cows in it. So at least we got a direction now, and that's the direction I'm heading. On the professional side, man, that thing changed so much after the Deepwater Horizon blew up, and dealing with that whole thing, and then the entire loss of my career at that point was gone. So I had to completely reinvent myself. Completely figure out a new identity, because I couldn't be, Captain Keith the sailor anymore. I had to figure some other shit out to do, and I'm still figuring that out, but it continues to move forward. So I guess one of the things I did take with me after the fight that became a big part of my identity. I'm not ever gonna fucking quit. You might knock me down, but you ain't never gonna knock me out, because as long as I have blood, breath, bullets, and freaking band-aids, we're in this fight. Period.
Hey, is everybody on this panel a veteran?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody on this panel for your service. Every one of you.
Appreciate it.
It was our honor.
I tried to go Navy, but they wouldn't let me because my eyes was messed up.
Hey, I want to let Bandit finish.
All right,
No.
I'm sorry about Bandit.
Yeah, that's just kind of what it is. I don't. Let's say this. I know who I am. I think there's times I struggle with what I am, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah.
You know, who I am, I know what that is. What am I? Am I the superintendent on a job site for the second largest building project in the United States? Yeah. That's what I am. That's not who I am. So, I mean, there's the identity thing, man. I'm still trying to figure that shit out. And it's been, God, I got out in 96. Fuck, it's been a while. But there was a lot of shit that I was dealing with that we're just now starting to get some clarity on, and laying aside the weights and the measures that have held me back. And now that that's kind of opened up, and seeing what just happened with, Sad Team 6 Chris, and seeing all that, that's opened up a whole nother level of questions and a whole nother realm of possibilities that I hadn't previously considered. So, man, the only thing I can tell you on this one, Mike, man, sit back, strap on, and grab your helmet, because it's going to be fucking fun. I promise you that.
About ready to risen with the tism, baby.
That's it. So, I mean, and there's some other stuff I wrote down. I mean, the whole title and the thrust of this, identity after the fight. And I was taking notes where everybody else was talking. And, man, that's a book title, maybe. If not, that could be one hell of a song title. So I might start tweaking with that a little bit, just to kind of play with it and let my creative juices do their thing.
If Betsy Ross is still in here, there you go. There's your next book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. And then, yeah, we'll see. More to come. Tune in tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah. Aggie, you still with us, brother?
The Cracker King.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Want to get some of your thoughts, man.
We take several different ways there. Cracker King. Fuck. I haven't been in long. I was pretty busy tonight, but I've heard a lot of people say a bunch of different things. I get my situation's a little different. I was forced out medically, so it wasn't by choice, and that really messed with my headspace. I talk and bleed the core. Like that's just it's in my blood. I mean, I can't ever let it go.
Thanks, Doug.
I don't walk around, like throwing it at people all the time, like, oh yeah, I'm a Marine, blah blah blah, or whatever. I don't have that kind of ego about it. I mean, I'll smoke and joke with you guys, and stuff, but it was really hard. I sat in a room in this very house for like 2.5, 3 years, just kind of in the dark. I mean, I kind of got into the drink. I was making some pretty poor choices, bouncing from this girl to that girl or whatever have you, and I was doing some pretty dumb shit.
Yeah.
But then the whole identity after the fight, man, that I forget where I heard this. I heard it somewhere, and I can't say who I heard it from. I don't know if it was here on TikTok or wherever, but I heard it said like this, and it really put a lot of things into perspective. No matter what you do, who you are, where you've been, where you're going to go, you're going to change regardless. You're
Yeah.
not who you were in your teens. You're not who you were in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. You're not going to be the same person. Something is going to change about you, with you, for you. Something is going to change.
Yeah.
Now, pushing past those few years after I had just gotten out and then finally met my wife, like that whole thing, being married to this amazing woman, like that changed me, because she saw this person who was just like, go get this done, go get that done. Like, when I say this is what needs to happen, like, there's no gray area. It's point and click, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, because I can't say some of that stuff on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So it's point and click instead of point and pew. But it's get it done, and don't waste any time. I am still like that because I refuse to let my disability become me. Like, that is not going to be an identity for me, because that
Right.
is the thing that broke me. It literally ripped away what I wanted to do and who I was, and I refuse to let it go. But that has also pushed me to excel in life. Now I run three separate businesses all on my own, and I'm doing pretty good. Um, it's a struggle for sure. Because the body doesn't want to really hold up anymore. But
Makes it a little hard when you get older, doesn't it?
it made it hard when I was still younger because of what my body's been through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, like I get on here and talk with some veterans, and they're, well, wait till you get to be my age. Or I go down to Legion and they're like, wait till you get to be my age. And I'm like, motherfucker, you weren't saying this shit at 20 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but realizing, I'm not who I was in my 20s. I'm not who I was when I had on the uniform, and I'm not who I was 3 years ago. You're
Yeah.
gonna change all the time. You're progressively changing, whether you realize it or not. And when you actually stop and take a look back at things, um, that's when everything really comes in perspective, and you're just like, I can do this, or I can't believe I didn't do this.
Yeah.
I especially Marines, out of all of us, like, we'd pop off the handle really quick, and now, I take a step back, and I address the situation, and I run it through a couple different uh, scenarios, and
Yeah.
what is the better outcome, and what is the better peaceable outcome for myself.
Right.
But yeah, that's how I deal with it. It's still a struggle. Like, I'm never not gonna deny being a Marine. I'm gonna be like, it's one of the proudest things of my life.
Right. And I think that holds true to anybody that served. It's not their entire identity, but it makes up a good part of it, because there's so many principles from the military that make up who you are now. That's the one thing that carries over, is those principles and those morals.
No, 100%.
So
It,
all good
and
shit,
not only
man.
that, it's that oath. That oath that you take. It's most of our lives, we make our choices based off of us. But
Yeah.
for a lot of us, that oath is the one thing that we can say that, hey, we're not doing it for us. We're doing it for a lot of other people, and people that we don't even know.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, hey, Uncle Aggie, I appreciate you guys coming up. I'm gonna drop you both down. I'm gonna shrink the
Thank you,
boxes
sir.
back. Absolutely, man. Oh, dang it. It didn't do it. Never mind. It won't do it. But anyway, so all good shit tonight. Lots of good conversations there. So appreciate everybody that came up in the panel and spoke tonight, shared their stories, shared their thoughts on identity after the fight, identity versus image. Bob, you want to any thoughts that you want to end with?
Conflict shapes you, but it doesn't define you. Identity after conflict is not about who you are, it's about who you choose to become.
Shorty, thoughts?
Just try to be true to yourself and know your own identity and don't let people judge you and don't let them determine who you really are. Figure it out for
Absolutely.
yourself.
So, thank you guys, everybody coming in and supporting us night after night. We appreciate it. You guys are what make this what it is. Bob, appreciate you. Shorty, can't do this without you.
Thanks.
My little rock. So, hopefully Ty will be back with us on Saturday. He has some personal stuff that he's taking care of, but we love
say one for
everybody.
Ty?
What's that?
I'll say one for Ty.
Okay.
Is the one of the biggest things that I took away from this, and I've seen talked about a lot, is make sure you take care of you.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah, if you're couple announcements that I want to leave everybody with. Saturday night, we are doing another topic based on the Gulf War vets. I think that one's going to be a great live. So it's going to be a little earlier. It's going to be at 15:30 Central, 16:30 Eastern. We're moving earlier in the day, but we're going to be talking about the Gulf War, 80s eras veterans, and having a lot of those guys up on the panel and talking with them on Saturday. And then we're here on TikTok, but we're eventually going to be live streaming over on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram a little down the road. So you can find us over there on those pages as well. But we love all your guys' support. We appreciate everybody coming in, sharing. I can't say it enough. So I just, like I always do, there's strength in every story and there's power in every voice. So we hope to see you guys on Saturday.
Have a good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
Boots on the ground, heads on a swivel. Lessons learned paid in blood and grit. We walked through fire, carried the weight. Still standing tall, still not quit. Different MOs, same damn scars. Different paths, same true north. We don't run from the hard conversations. We adapt, overcome, push forward. When the fight follows you home at night and the mission feels hard to define, fall back, sound off, regroup right here. This is where we realign. This is the mission rally point where warriors sharpen mind and soul. No ranks here, just share resolve. Every rep makes us whole. We own our past, we lead the future. Purpose locked, eyes aligned. This is the mission rally point. Stand fast, it's time to rise.